Hi, we're still reading The Wheel on the School by Maynard de Jong, pictures by Maurice Sendak. We are on chapter 8 and we're about to finish it. This is Lena and the upturned boat. Old Douwa, on the boat, glanced briefly out to sea. "Have you got that wheel dug free?" he shouted down the hole to Lena. "The tide'll be here in a few minutes." "Almost," Lena said, "but it's so big and such a long way to dig around." She dug frantically again. Lena dug and the old man sawed. "It's free," Lena shouted up a moment later. She stopped for breath. "I've been trying to set it up, but I can't even stir it. It's so heavy." As she was talking, the first hissing line of bottom water slid swiftly under the boat and curled coldly around her toes. Lena gasped. "Oh, it's here," she yelled. "The water's here." The old man stooped down to the hole. "Can you climb a rope?" "No," Lena said promptly. "I've tried lots of times, but dresses get in your way." "Well, take the dress off." There was a little silence. "Oh, I don't know. Should I? Can't you pull me up?" "Listen, tides take no time for modest little girls. That rope's got to be tied to the wheel. How else are we going to pull it up out of there? Tie the rope to the wheel. I'll hold the rope taut and you climb it. If we don't do it that way, we won't have a wheel." Again there was silence. Then a small voice called, "I've tied the rope around the wheel and my dress around my neck. I'm ready." The old man straddled the hole, stretching the rope tight while Lena climbed. Now the women of Shora had gathered on the point of the dike opposite the old boat. The tide had kept them from getting to it and had driven them back to the dike. They stood shouting frantic words at Douwa across the distance, but the old man was too occupied with straining at the rope and holding it steady for Lena to answer. As he climbed, Lena heard the women's sharp shrieks. Now her head came up through the hole. The old man reached down with one hand to grasp her, but Lena saw the women. "My mother," she gasped. "And with me with my dress off. Oh, will I catch it?" "I'm standing in their way, and the moment I pull you out, I'll even turn my back," said old Douwa. He grinned at her and lifted her out. Behind the old man's broad back, Lena hastily unknotted the dress. "All right now," she whispered. At the first sight of Lena's mother had rushed down the dike. She'd run into the water a little way toward the boat. The rushing groundswell of the tide sent the water up over her knees. Knee-deep in water, she stood screaming, "Lena! Lena, come now, or it'll be too late!" Come down," the chorus of women screamed desperately from the dike. Now Douwa's granddaughter, Yanka, rushed down into the sea after Lena's mother. "Let yourself slide and run through the water, both of you," she shrieked. "You can still do it." "Get a farmer," Douwa shouted back at her. "Get a farmer to come with horse and wagon. That's all we need." He chuckled to himself when he saw the women on the dike turn and disappear over the crest of the dike to run to one of the farms around Shora. Only Lena and Yanka, the mother and the granddaughter, still hovered beneath the dike. They stood close together, clutching each other in order to stay on their feet. But bit by bit, the rising tide forced them back to the dike. Lena, it's way over our knees. It's your last chance now," Lena's mother screamed. "Are we going to stay here?" Lena asked Douwa desperately. "Yep," the old man said. He was calmly fishing his pipe from his pocket. "What your mother doesn't realize is that if it's now over their knees there below the dike, it's over your head right here. But the old boat is high. It'll be easily an hour before the tide goes over the boat. So you and I will just stay here high and dry until help comes. That's why I sent them for a horse and wagon. Not only to get us two off, but to get that waterlogged wheel to shore too." He chuckled as he filled his pipe and looked out to sea. Lena paced back and forth on the boat. "Now you'd better yell to your mother to get back on that dike before the real sweep of the tide knocks her off her feet. See, there it comes." The old man pointed to the great wall of water rushing toward them from out of the deep, distant sea. He began lighting his pipe. "Mother, get back! Get back!" Lena called across the rushing water. "It's coming! Hurry, run up the dike! We're all right here!" Her mother and Yanka plunged through the deepening water and scurried up the dike. But near the bottom of the dike, the two women whirled desperately. Once more a scream came across to the boat as the wall of water came thundering. "What will we do? Oh, what will we do?" "You'd better sit down here with me," Douwa told Lena. "Pacing back and forth on this slippery boat, you might slide off." Sitting is safer. Just let them scream. It makes them feel a little better. The others are getting a farmer, and that's all needs to be done. Even if the tide goes over the boat before the farmer gets here, we'll just get our feet wet. And since you're young and don't have to worry about rheumatism, when it comes to that high, I'll just have to sit on your shoulders. Lena choked and gave the old man an astonished look. Then she laughed. His jokes and his calmness were beginning to quiet her. She sat down beside the old man and laid her hand in his. "I never knew you were so funny," she said gratefully. "I didn't know people were funny when they were old." The old man was pleased. "There, that's much better. No sense running up and down a boat like a headless chicken." But Lena had to stand up a moment. "Mother, we're really all right up here," she yelled as loud as she could. "There's nothing to worry about," Douwa says. "And Mother, we've got a wheel." She settled herself beside the old man. "Isn't this exciting? We've got a wheel, and you and I got it." "Mother, we're all right here," she shouted suddenly. "Douwa knows." But this time she didn't get up to shout. "She won't believe me anyway," she told the old man. She held his hand tightly as the wall of water, with a searing, cutting noise and then a thunderous roar, rushed threateningly deep along the old boat and onto the dike. Behind the wall of water, the sea surrounded the boat and lapped up against its rounded sides. "Isn't this exciting?" Lena whispered. She clung to the old man.